So, the Donhill family is one of the oldest and most respected families of Tir Ogra. They have been here for quite a long time, and are well known within the community. They have a great deal of land to their name. They also have uh, a prized lucky pig that they tend to, among their many other crops. The leader of this family, the matriarch, is the uh, wonderful older halfling known as Matilda Donhill. She's very much the type of, I was born on this farm, I'll die on this farm. This is my land. I shall stay here as long as I live. But Tir Oga is a very beautiful area. It is mostly farmland, and it is something considered something of a haven for small folk. While it is primarily halflings that live here, there are a dwarf or two within the community. And it is not often that one would see some of the giant folk, such as humans or elves, come through this way. While it is technically a part of one of the kingdoms of Ahawahi, it is mostly a self-governing area. And Tira Ogra was also one of the communities to benefit from the green resurgence that took place in the continent an era or two ago, and thus the community has thrived. Many families have gotten larger, and in fact, even some of the halflings have begun to develop more unique skills within the last century or so, the newer generation. Gaining more magics to help maintain their more agricultural lifestyle. Not the Donhill family, though. You all have been here, as I said, for many generations. And it is for generations that you have participated in the local end of summer harvest festival. This is a time where the community can get together and share food and compete in contests and what have you, and just enjoy getting to finally relax after a long summer hard working. And everyone is abuzz getting ready for the pumpkin contest. The contest every year of which family can grow the largest pumpkin without the use of any druidic magic, as that is considered cheating. For quite a while, the Donhill family had been the winners of this contest every year. You would work hard to grow the pumpkin, again, without use of druidic magic, simply cultivating and taking care of the land and the farm, and as it is also thought to be partially due to the presence of your lucky pig that you have on your land. But last year, the Copperworth family won the contest. And yeah, I
We're gonna
know,
kill him.
it's fucked up. The Copperworth won the contest. And
Ew.
the thing is, the Copperworth and the Donhill families were once thought to be friends, except a few decades ago, at a different celebration, the leader of the Copperworth family stole one of your guys' recipes for the pie eating contest, and you've been sworn enemies ever since. And so, it is no surprise when Matilda Donhill starts to wonder, to plan, how can we get reclaim our rightful place as the winners of the pumpkin growing contest. The cogs in her mind start turning, especially when one of her granddaughters, one of your aunties, Fred, heard, this would be Auntie Heather Donhill. She had overheard Cassandra Copperworth talking with Peony Goodchild in the marketplace about how confident she is that they're going to win the pumpkin contest once again this year. So Aunt Heather, run back to your farm, immediately told Matilda. Matilda had looked around the farm and gathered a small elite team. Lars, would you mind describing your character?
Hello. I am Glenjamin Cragglehorn, recently married into the family. You don't know much about him outside of his profession, which is a cobbler. The scandal. Most of his business is to the other short folk, but he is working on developing shoes that are comfortable for hobbits to wear and wears his designs. He is soft spoken, occasionally stuttery, and you've maybe heard him speak a dozen words when his wife isn't present. Bonnie Donhill, he is absolutely enamored of.
Awesome. Duff, if you'd like to describe your character.
I coming through now?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So Helen Onhill, um, is primarily a civ cook. She is rarely seen inside of the kitchen. Um, is always working on, recipes that you like need to do over the course of like 5 days, just adding another layer or another ingredient to it each time and letting it marinate. She has eat control and is very territorial over all of her stuff. But other than that, she's very pleasant and very positive, and could not be prouder of her little Winnie and everything that she's ever done. Um, Physically speaking, she is very tall, by Halfling standards. I think I have her down as 3'6". Anyways, and she has very long, really red hair, that she keeps in what originally might look like some sort of fancy updo, but upon closer inspection is just anytime a strand comes loose, she ties it back up. So it's just a bunch of like random uns and knots just all over her hair. And she wears, big, flowing, very loose-fitting floral dresses, and aprons. Um, and as evidenced by the background on her pick crew, she's also trans.
All right.
Feels like one of
Kenzie.
those people that has like bobby pins just like falling out of their head like all
Oh
the
my
damn
God,
time.
yeah.
You cannot go through a metal detector because your entire head would just.
I forgot
Oh,
to
and I
give my
suppose I should.
appearance.
Oh, yeah, you
I just went
gotta
with
go for that.
anyway.
I mean, who needs to say anything about his appearance when you discover a giant pop?
Well,
No one has time to look at his face. They're all too distracted by whatever he's doing to his little piggies down there.
Well, he's semi-tall for a hobbit, not as tall as Heather.
Kellen.
Helen.
Kellen.
Still working on
Kellen.
names.
K-E-L-L.
With the K.
Kellen. Not as tall as Kellen, like 3'3", but still tallish for a hobbit. Kind of like stick skinny, and kind of pale skin, darker complexion or darker hair, opposite facial hair to me, so sideburns, curly, shaggy hair. And you've all heard the rumors about him. How such an ugly halfling could have gotten such a beautiful wife, especially one who makes shoes.
You know what
Oh,
they
I
say about
suppose.
feet.
You know what they say about feet. I suppose I
And
should also specify about Kellen that she is not known to have any magical aptitude, but has recently been getting into making some exotic new recipes from different places.
all right. Kenzie.
Eredice is the kind of one of the like wine aunts of the family. She's known to be very like jovial, very happy. She's always been kind of one of the main directors of like the farmers market like empire that we've got going on here in Hobbiton as far as like at least our family's like leg of it and helping kind of with making sure all the livestock is taken care of when it's on display and making sure we've got just like the display the most perfect it can possibly be with the best variety of our products and like definitely has like a little bit of Joyzy and just like very much like sales forward sort of like you're gonna love it, it's gonna be great. um Kind of a darker skin, green eyes, kind of cropped hair about here that's like kind of wavy. And she just kind of like handles herself like she's got the nails a little bit. um, but yeah, just kind of takes care of things. Straight talking.
All right. Avery.
So for the longest time, the diminutive nickname of my character has been Winnie. But lately, since about the time Winnie turned 13 last fall, she has been going around telling everyone to call her Fred instead. And last week, she also did a horrible butcher job to her bangs. She decided to give herself bangs, and it's not working. They were a little too short to begin with, and they have not grown since. Uh, Winnie is all of 2 foot nothing. So very, very small, even for a 13-year-old hobbit. Um Basically, yes. And they are they have their hair in like what used to be pigtails and now have just evolved into fun buns out of laziness more than anything else. Um and they have a little name tag around their neck that says Winifred, but the Winnie part has been uh scratched out with a marker. Assistant pig keeper. Because that is their job for this upcoming festival, is that they get to help the team that takes care of the show winning pig. And they are taking that job very seriously because that has basically been their job, their like chore on the farm their entire life has been helping other people help the pig. um, and yeah, Winnie is 13 years old.
All right. So,
Woo! That's my kid!
so it sounds like for Fred, great grandma Matilda, and for the rest of you would probably just be thought of as grandma. She is a lovely 200 years old, and she's showing no signs of stopping. But she gathers you all into one of the larger sitting rooms of your farmhouse, and says, "I'm sure by now you've all been told of what Heather has overheard in the market the other day regarding Copperworth."
What part of it? That they're no good two-timing rascals?
Well, Cassandra Copperworth was discussing how she is confident that she will win the pumpkin growing contest again this year. It must not happen. It is imperative that we reclaim our rightful title.
I mean, how do you think we'll do that? It's not like we can stop their pumpkin from growing.
We can't stop their pumpkin from growing, but we can stop them from bringing it to the market.
Ooh.
Now, I must say, it is incredibly important that we are not caught. Can you imagine the scandal if we were seen ruining their pumpkins or their chances of the competition? It would show weakness for our family. I suggest that you four do whatever it takes to prevent them from getting the pumpkin to the fair. But whatever you do, the pumpkin must not be smashed. They will know it is us immediately.
Well, we're definitely not. We are definitely classier than them, Grandmama. We would never do such a thing.
We are not pumpkin ruiners. Never been. Never will be.
That's my girls. She kind of takes a drag from her pipe and looks at you all.
It's just a little bit of Hobbit mafioso. It's fine. It's great. Don Grandmama.
On grandmama.
On today,
And I
the day
count
of
on the
farm
four of you
market.
to prevent the Copperwoods from entering the pumpkin contest.
Yes,
We
Grandmama.
won't let you down.
Okay, great, Grandma.
The contest is tomorrow. Be on your way and best of luck.
Thank you, Grandmama.
Always have it.
So,
Oh, skip off.
what do you guys want to do?
So I would assume that as one of the people that kind of knows like how a lot of the different families kind of get their goods to and from market, I would
Oh, yeah.
assume that it's kind of a very similar process for the fair. So would I kind of know off the top of my head kind of how they usually transport like a big pumpkin to market and how like the transportation route
General
might look?
intelligence check.
That is a 14.
14. You would imagine that they would have a cart of some sort, and depending on the size of the pumpkin in question, they may or may not have some sort of livestock creature pulling the cart.
Do we know what this family, what is it, the copper, what did we decide on the
Copperworth.
second half of it? The Copperworths, those blasted Copperworths. Do we know what like animals they prefer to raise?
Um, you can roll another intelligence check if you like.
12.
12. You know that they have some sheep, a couple horses, and a couple of pigs. Their pigs not nearly as nice as your own, but those are the animals they have at their disposal.
Okay.
How do the judges check for druidic tampering?
There are a variety of methods. Some of them use more divination practices, and there's also detect magic that's used as well.
So couldn't we just spike the pumpkin?
Could probably influence the judges thus. I don't know if they'd be able to tell the difference between different kinds of enchantments that be put on it. I'm really not well versed in the arcane at all.
I only know very basics and nothing about druid craft. But it would be a way to not, it would mean that the pumpkin could get to the show, but they would then be disgraced for using magic.
Which would reflect back on them much more poorly than just not bringing one at all.
I suppose that could be a plan B.
It's a good one. If we can figure out a way to actually get to it.
Well, I don't know, but what if we just flooded the pumpkin and pushed it down the river?
Can't destroy.
You can't destroy it.
I said not to smash it. I'm just saying if we drown it.
Honey bun, we have to be on the moral high ground here as far as our.
I do think that there's an kind of a
Admission.
great idea
I don't think we
there,
have the
though.
high ground.
Of course we do. It's our title to win.
They
They've
cheated
obviously
last year.
and obviously they've been cheating. We just got to make it
Clearly.
obvious how they were cheating.
I think there might be an idea in there. What if we go and give their pumpkin a little extra care? Perhaps an unfortunate excess of care that the pumpkin might not fully appreciate.
Now
I
that
think
sounds
that's a good
interesting.
idea. Mm.
Party people, did
Can I
anyone
roll
end
to
up
see what
picking
I
Druid?
know about what kind of conditions pumpkins like to grow in?
Roll a nature check.
Ooh, that is what's my nature? That is a 21.
21. All right. So you would know that pumpkins can be grown successfully with good soil where they would receive lots of sunlight throughout the day. You don't want any shade on your pumpkin patch. It's also good to make sure that the soil is high in organic material, so you need lots of compost. Because the soil will warm up faster and then drain quickly. You don't want soil that's too heavy or clay rich, in which case you would want to add sand or, as I mentioned before, more compost.
Ooh, so we could compress their soil. I don't know. I don't know if we'd readily have access to clay necessarily. Um, we could at the very least, compact it too much. Um,
Well, I will
shade.
say at this point,
Mhm.
the competition is in 2 days. So any growth that the pumpkin has already done has
Mhm.
already been done.
Mhm.
We just need to keep
Yeah,
it
that's
from
a point.
market. So it could be as simple as we like cut their axle of their best wagon, the one that they decorate all nice and pretty every year. Not as nice as our setup, of course, but we could cut the axle or just winnow it down just enough so that it breaks on a hard rock or something like that.
I
That
would
could keep them.
certainly.
And I mean, if their pumpkin falls and happens to be smashed because their wagon wasn't up to par, I mean, I don't see how that could be blamed on us.
We could also figure out which animals they're planning on using to haul the pumpkin into town and maybe, I don't know, give them a little like sticky hoof or something.
I'd rather not hurt an animal, but I
They
think I
won't
would
be
be a.
hard.
But I think I might be able to sabotage whatever cart they're using.
Oh, and how are you gonna do that?
Well, obviously, I haven't thought of the specifics, but I I am quite handy with my tools. Can't be any harder than uh, making a shoe.
Shoes and wagons are very, very different beasts, if you will.
You would know that if you'd ever worked on a farm in your life. The difference between shoes and carts.
You
You would
guys
know
should
how
I'm
a
choose.
sure I'm
shoe.
sure you'll pick up on it one of these days, though.
If you ever wore a shoe, you'd know that they're rather complex to assemble.
What was that? Couldn't quite hear you. The sounds of the rustle and bustle of the town.
Nothing.
I could get Henwin, the pig.
What would you do with Henwin, honey?
I don't know. She could beat up the other animals.
Oh, that would definitely take them out. Mhm.
But doesn't Henwin have to be in prime condition for the festival?
Yeah. He had to brush out the stall yesterday and today, and we're gonna have to do it again tomorrow, even though it's only a once a week chore. But
Oh, it's gonna look so good at the fair. They're
okay,
shining through.
Mom.
Have you picked out
Yeah.
all the bows and bells and whistles that she's going to be wearing?
Yeah, that was decided like ages ago.
Well,
Oh,
excuse
and I can't.
me.
Oh, and I can't leave your the assistant up there. Ah, oh, you're getting so big, so adult
Mom,
already.
you're embarrassing me. I'm going to kick her, like kind of fall back a little and like kick a rock. Um can I see like are there any like I don't know, maybe rotten looking apples or something that may have been fallen off the tree a little too early, so now it's kind of gnarly, like something with worms in it.
Roll a perception check.
All right. That's a natural 20. It went for a ride, but it was a natural 20.
Um,
Um, for a total of 24.
24. All right. You were able to find a couple of pomegranates actually that have fallen too early and kind of busted on the ground a bit when they fell. So
Cool.
the bugs could kind of get into them and they're nice and dirty and stuff.
I'm gonna pick them up very like carefully and put them in one of my apron pockets. Uh, always good to have just in case. And I'm going to pick up some like loose stones and stuff, and then probably realize that most of the family is almost over the hill and then go running after them.
All right. In which direction are you guys heading? Are you headed towards the market, towards the Copperworth house, or elsewhere?
I think towards the house.
Uh,
Okay.
it, it would
Just
make
seems that
sense to
way.
swing by my shop so we can pick up some supplies.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Actually, before we head out, I'm gonna grab ooh, like the worst I have hanging around. Like one of the jack pies I made, and then I was like, ooh, no, no, this is not up to sharing standards. And I'm gonna get it wrapped up all nice and pretty and put it in my pack.
All right.
So we have an alibi for being near their house if need be.
All right. So while you guys are headed towards the market, um, you happen to pass by Cassandra and Dahlia Copperworth. Uh, Cassandra is considered sort of the leader of the family. She's got brown skin, kind of dark auburn hair. Dahlia is one of her children. Got her mother's kind of auburn hair and smirk. And the two of them are walking down the road, and they are looking very haughty and full of themselves. They kind of give you the look like, oh, it's them, and don't acknowledge you guys beyond that.
I'm sticking my tongue out at them as they're passing.
Kellen waves an overly friendly hello and does not stop walking.
Glenjamin goes, chew, and uses the sneeze as cover for a little bit of prestidigitation to make the ground that they're walking in more muddy, or about to walk into more muddy.
I'm gonna roll and see if they notice. Why don't you roll sleight of hand, Glenjamin?
Can I give him guidance?
Not for this one, I think. We didn't know he was gonna do that.
All right, fair enough.
That would be a 10 since I rolled a 4.
All right. You are not feeling very subtle with it. And both of the women stop before stepping into the mud. And Cassandra says, really, I thought that the Dawnhills would have a bit more class than that.
Well, I didn't notice the mud because of my shoes.
Oh my god.
That was my shoes.
Paradise is just like,
it's not going to catch on. It's not going to happen.
Benjamin, stop trying to make shoes happen.
I love that you have a vision, but no.
Paradise is just like, bye girl, and like
just
us, like
dejected. Princesses don't slump like this.
All right.
I'm not gonna be seeing you tomorrow. As she walks off. Or in 2 days, whatever.
See you at the Harvest Festival. You're gonna lose.
Fred, Dahlia actually laughs at you when you say that. She's like an older teenage girl. She's like pretty. She's apparently got her whole life figured out. Like she is a popular girl.
Oh shit, I didn't realize. Yeah. Fred just kind of like definitely gets real like quiet looking down at her feet. And they are going to like kind of basically just stare down at their feet for as long as it takes for the two Copperworths to like have their backs to them.
Helen is going to
can I hold an action for when the Copperworths have turned their backs and are on their way down the road?
Sure.
Okay, cool.
Ellen is going to shoot the death glare and get an 18 on intimidation.
You can see that Dahlia avoids looking at you, but Cassandra kind of gives you a oh bless your heart sort of look.
And Zusef and go and says, stage whisper, kids.
You know, it's going to be so nice winning the pumpkin contest again. I know you guys had enjoyed having that prize for so long, but it's nice that you're so willing to put it aside and share with the rest of the community, you know?
What a kind and generous thing for you to say. Although you really shouldn't be praising us and you really should be concentrating a little bit more on what you got going on over there, like your pie cooking. Considering you need such focus and attention on what you got written down to pull it all off to win.
But I really have no idea what you're talking about. That recipe has been
Oh.
in my family for generations. It's not my fault that it's better than what you had.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you just found that in a pigsty, buried in the carbonate of mud.
Well, you'd all know all about mud and pigs, wouldn't you?
Why you know good dirty?
Pigs. Model pigs, show winning pigs, yes, of course. Everything under the sun, all the little tips and tricks.
I
Wouldn't
don't
you
see
just
the
like to get
point
your
in
If you
hands
ever
on
wasting
it?
needed some
time with such
advice,
things when you're just going to eat them later anyway.
Why do
Penguin
anything?
is a very important pig.
And it's at that point that Dolly Copperworth looks at you, Fred, and just kind of laughs. Like, oh, just keep telling yourself that, dear.
She is. But like also Fred's entire face to the tips of her ears have turned bright tomato red, and she is keeping her head very down. He's a more important pig than you'll ever be.
Like, both the Copperworths just look baffled at that. And Dahlia says,
I haven't ever.
keep trying. You'll get there eventually, maybe.
Well, this is gonna be picking up one of the show, and I don't think they give ones for overreaching teenagers.
And Cassandra speaks up at this point to you, Kellen, and says, might want to consider that for your own. Kind of looks at Fred. Daughter?
My fuck. Okay. Dev isn't able to say this with a straight face. Kellen will be. My own assistant pig keeper.
Not our fault, dear, that you get stuck working with pigs. As I said, don't really see the point in getting so attached to such swine when you're just going to eat them later anyway.
Look at you wrapping up your giant pumpkin in blankies and cuddling it all winter. I think you're one to talk.
Well,
It's all
the thing
compost in the
is,
end, dear.
we know what works for us. Clearly, as we won last year, you just need to face it. Your family is losing influence, and that is not our fault. That we are being welcomed in such a way by the community. In any case, I hope you all have a lovely day. They start to continue on their way.
Do they step in
Sounds
the mud?
good.
Do they step in the mud?
No, they did not step in the mud. They avoided the mud.
Damn.
I'm just gonna stand her a breath. Not welcomed enough to have a notable parcel of land. Mhm. And you as well, dear.
Can we tell kind of where they're heading? Are they seem to be going in one particular way to a location?
They are more or less headed in the direction of the market.
Well, that's at least two of them that won't be home. At least for the most recent future.
Their
Oh,
family is not as large as yours, um, but there are still a handful of them. As I said, Cassandra is more of the leader of the family, for lack of a better descriptor. Her father is still around. His name is Edel Copperworth. He's older. Um, he she also has her husband, Castor Copperworth, and Dahlia's twin brother, Dusty.
oh, but the reports. You root one out and they just pop up everywhere like the dandelions. I wouldn't count on their pumpkin not being watched.
That was so embarrassing, you guys.
Well, dear, they'll just be all the more embarrassed tomorrow when none of their brags come true.
Exactly.
I'm gonna run to the restroom real quick while you guys chat.
We've got to take down their stupid Copperworths and their stupid
Obviously.
pumpkin.
Winnie, this is a good lesson to you. Doesn't matter who wins battle if you're gonna win the war.
Yeah.
And fuck, I'm forgetting the pig's name. What's the pig's name?
Henwin.
Henwin. And of course, Win is a beloved and respected part of the family. Boys
Yeah.
just don't understand caring about people.
Ugh, that would have been so much better if we had taken Henwin with us.
I would have showed, oh no.
Yeah.
She'll see her at the fair anyways.
Yeah, whatever. Ugh, can we get to the Copperworth's place now? How much longer? Are we there yet?
I think we gotta plan a little bit. We
Does
should
doesn't pay
walk
to
by.
trash.
One, aren't we picking up stuff from my shop? Two, uh, does fruit count as an object?
Yeah.
Yes,
Mhm.
fruit is an
Yes.
object. I was also under the impression that you guys were heading to the cobbler to get supplies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
If we
so
are able to like pass by their farm on the way there, probably not. Maybe not.
No, their farm is in the other direction.
Okay. So we're heading to the cobbler shop, I suppose.
All right. Glenjamin, do you want to describe what your shop looks like?
well, it's probably out of the back of Glenjamin and Bonnie's house, so it's closer to the market, but not like properly on the street. And so there's like a little side gate with a sign that says cobbler on it on the fence. And I lead you guys in and kick the dust off my shoes at the doorway and walk in. And as he does, he yells, "Bonnie, are you in?"
Bonnie starts to make her way out. She has kind of bluish gray eyes and fair but suntanned skin. Her hair is curly and brown, and she is a couple months pregnant.
Been putting the effort in.
Oh, hi, dear. Welcome back. I wasn't expecting to see you all so soon. Oh my goodness! And starts giving each of you some more hugs. And it's not a very large town. You probably saw her like yesterday, but she is acting like she hasn't seen you guys in forever. And she gives you each like a big hug and a quick peck on the cheek. And Fred, she like ruffles your hair and messes up your bangs even more.
Bonnie,
Stop
always a
it.
pleasure. How have you been?
Oh, I'm doing all right. We're not too busy here, but we're doing pretty good.
I'm sure it'll someday. And you can hear the hesitation in that statement, but by God, if she's
Kellen,
not full
roll.
of energy saying it.
Kellen, roll an insight check.
Oh, that is a 24.
It's very clear to you that Bonnie does not really think that the business is going to take off either, but she is supportive of her husband.
Can I make a
Excellent,
perception check
excellent.
to see if she's wearing shoes?
Sure, roll a perception check.
That's 23.
She is not wearing shoes, but she has a pair of shoes kind of strapped to her belt like it's a tool that she can pull out if she needs. And what do you say you got a 23? There is a
Yeah.
smashed spider on the bottom of one of those shoes.
Ah. Eredice is just kind of like, oh, honey, I'm so glad to see you're not wearing any of these stuffy little things on your feet. You know, they're so bad for the baby. Baby can't even breathe when you wear those things. I'm so glad.
I know it just feels more free to have your feet on the dirt and dust, you know. But you know they have their
Exactly.
uses. kill the whole nest of spiders this morning.
And I'm sure I'll figure out women's shoes soon enough. You've been so helpful, honey.
She gives you a kiss on the cheek.
Just glowing.
So what can I do you for? What are you guys looking for in here? I assume it's not shoes.
Well, your husband was gonna try and find some things that are gonna help us with the little project that we're working on.
Mm-hmm. Just pick up some of my tools so I can, help with the wagon for the pumpkin.
Roll a deception check.
Nat 20, even though he is not good at lying.
All right. Well, your wife can pick up that something's up, but she's not gonna call you. She is making the assumption that maybe you're going to make something for the baby, and is trying to surprise her with it. He's like, all right, dear, will you all be safe then?
Always am. And he kisses her on the forehead and bends over and kisses the belly with the babu. Love you, dear. I'll be sure to be home not too late.
Fred is trying to discreetly shove themselves into the smallest, most out of the way corner so that nobody can see them at all and that they can just try and kind of slink off on their own. But, it's a small house and they are the only 13-year-olds.
Roll a stealth check with disadvantage.
I already get disadvantage on my stealth checks.
Cool.
Do I double disadvantage?
Nah, double disadvantage doesn't work.
Why are you getting
That's
disadvantage
3.
on stealth?
It's a 3.
What are you wearing?
You're shoving yourself in the corner, and while you're trying to shove yourself in the corner, you end up kind of moving one of the tables, which off to the side, and everyone kind of looks towards you.
A pair of shoes that I'm currently working on tumbles off.
I'm going to try very hard to pose like I'm just leaning and being casual.
Bonnie asks you, Winnie, did you need anything, dear?
My name's Fred.
Right.
How many times?
Yes, sorry. Would you like anything, Fred?
No, I'm fine. I'm just...
If you come over sometime soon, I can help fix your bangs.
My bangs are fine.
Okay,
Thank
dear.
you, Bonnie.
Well, maybe I just don't understand the latest style for youngins.
Thank you, Bonnie. Slowly getting more red.
Glenjamin just making heart eyes during this conversation as he's grabbing stuff from his shop.
All right. What kind of things do you grab?
Well, I grab my various tool sets, a little bit of gold, and the contents and effectively a Dungeoneer's pack.
Okay.
Because that's on my character sheet. I'm just giving an excuse to have all this shit.
Cool.
And of course his work apron, because that's his studded leather armor.
Mm-hmm. All right. Do you guys dig around in the market anymore?
We
We have
could
some.
go pop around.
Well, we have some. I have some gold that I can throw at this project.
So, okay, well, while
Fair
we're
enough.
here, and maybe we like shoo Bonnie to the back, or maybe we go into the back and Bonnie stays in the front of the cobbler shop so we can scheme without anybody hearing us. Because nobody comes to this cobbler shop. So it's perfect. No
It's
one
true.
will eavesdrop.
Bonnie, could you maybe get us some tea?
I would love to. What kind?
My favorite herbal stuff. What do you guys want?
I'm sure whatever blend Bonnie's come up with lately will be just perfect.
I'm quite interested to see it.
All right. So Bonnie shuffles off to go make some tea, leaving you guys alone.
Anyway, you can see there's some oversized shoes, you're guessing for the local dwarves. He just kind of shoves them to one side of the table and rolls out a piece of parchment and a quill, and it's just like, okay, what do you guys think?
We know what the Copperworth farm is laid out like. Like, have we been around to it before?
You haven't been there, but you know where it is, and you can kind of guess what the space would be like. You would imagine they have their own garden, then pens for the animals, and the house itself.
Seen into it, but not been into it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Maybe while we are at it, we can see if we can get our recipe back. Because you just know that these motherfuckers, they're not gonna remember it. Oh no, no, no. Once it's gone, they won't be able to use it again.
Uh, while talking to the Copperworths and their nasty personalities, I came up with what might be a good idea. At which point you see Glenjamin pull out like a couple tools and a needle, like an older needle, and he kind of picks at it and kind of flexes it a little bit, says a couple things under his breath, and at which point the room is inundated with this awful rotting smell.
Oh, goodness gracious.
I was thinking maybe we could hide something like this either on or in the pumpkin.
I
That's the
certainly would
law.
just I certainly would disqualify a pumpkin that smelled like that. Was you say it's the pin doing that?
Yep. At which point he goes bap on the pin and the smell clears like almost instantly.
Maybe if we like tuck it in where they're keeping the pumpkin at the place, at the farm, then they'll go into a tizzy and they'll not be able to load it up onto a wagon at all. They'll be so embarrassed that they won't even be able to like try and bring it.
Maybe they won't even want to show their faces and won't get to exhibit anything.
I thinking that it could be a decent plan to sabotage the pumpkin itself without destroying the pumpkin. But I think we should also do something about the cart as well. You know, approach from multiple directions.
What if we flooded out the road so that they couldn't get the cart through the mud?
Ooh, I do
Would
think
the
that it's a good idea in general, but unfortunately, and here may have tipped his hand a little on that.
Well, one, I can't do an act of God, but would even the topology of the region work?
Technically.
Mhm.
I think that they saw you making the dirt muddy, hun.
I think they'd notice if it happened again.
Yeah, thanks, Glenjamin.
Ruined a perfectly good plan.
I didn't even know it was a plan.
You and your shoes, Glenjamin.
Good one.
Well, we've got your pin idea, and we can still break the axle of the car, or at least like we could saw into it some, kind of hide it,
So
make
it
it so that they
gets
can't
broken
tell
later. Yeah.
exactly. But if we can keep them from even loading up the pumpkin, I think that that's a great idea. Make it just a travesty to even think about like bringing it in.
Sorry, my brain completely shut off.
Well, what do you think, Freddie? Aside from any pig related activity, what do you think?
I don't know. I'm just here. I can, well, I got some rotten pomegranate. We could feed it to their goats, make their stomach hurt. um I got starts ruffling through, and Fred is wearing like a big ol' apron that has like a whole bunch of like pockets in it, and it's been like patched to hell and back again. This is the assistant pig keeper's apron. Like anyone who has been tasked with that chore definitely has like all of these little pockets, and they like clink. They're like rocks and stones. There are little coins. There are like random little thimbles that Fred is carrying in this apron, and they start pulling out, like they got a bottle of something. It looks very rotten and very fermented. They put it back in their pocket. They're just like pulling out a lot of random like knickknacks, and they're like, that's what I've got.
Not a bad idea.
Good.
I was
Can you like
thinking maybe, the copper pot dad, he like goes through barrels of whiskey like pretty regularly, and I've got like this, and I kind of shake my little thing of juice, and like, I think it would give him a stomach ache. I could also like, I got a bucket. I could grab some water from the creek and put it somewhere. I don't know.
We could give them all Giardia.
that'd certainly keep him from the competition. Could also
That's what I've got.
could also try to, I don't know, spread like rotten mold onto their pumpkin. Get the environment wet enough. Get some spoiled produce somewhere. See if it catches. I do not personally know whether or not that's how mold works.
Well, it could, yeah. So with the combination of the pin smelling real bad, and then we could get some like fungus or like some mold from someplace. Like, I don't know, like do we have like a moldy area that we know of? We could try and smear it, little
Compost bins.
smear underneath the
Oh yeah,
pumpkin
the good old
that when they
classic
lift
mold
it,
pit.
you know, and we could
Fred,
smear it
like,
underneath the pumpkin.
Fred
We could
tentatively reaches into a pocket and pulls out something. It looks like it may have once been a sourdough starter. It's no longer a sourdough starter.
It's about to gain sentience.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
Because
With
nobody's
the
lifting
stinky
or moving
foot
their pumpkin.
noodle. With the stinky foot needle and a
That
bunch of
certainly
rot.
looks like that pumpkin had contracted something.
Can I use mending to repair the shell of the pumpkin?
Doesn't it have to be
I would
inanimate?
probably make
So would a
you
pumpkin
do
count?
a check for that, but you can certainly try.
Well, if it were no longer attached to the vine, that would work. Because it turns
Mending
from
says
a living thing
object.
to an
So,
object.
yeah.
Because if it's
Fair.
detached from the vine, I can literally open a little hole. We can put the whatever that is inside the pumpkin to expedite things. And I could cast this enchant or the stink enchantment on a rock or something, so it's nothing's out of place. We just need a way to camouflage the magic. Unless if we
I
want to
mean,
make it look
with the
like
mending,
no,
would
the
the
mending would
mending itself
dissipate. It's
show
the
up?
rock that I'm worried about.
Yeah, we'd have to do it as an environmental thing. That could I see if they because you know how little honor and respect they have. They might try to take a pumpkin smelling like that to the market anyway. To the fair.
Yes, but they wouldn't
Mm.
win, right? That's the key there. It would all be like
Well,
smelly and moldy, right?
if we cast it on like a nearby rock, and then they take the pumpkin, even though it smells like that around it, then it wouldn't be with
Hmm.
the rock anymore.
Well, I mean like a pebble that we could like stick into the rind, but then that would still
Hmm.
be putting off magic.
Yeah, then they'd notice it. And I
I
mean, it makes sense if they put something in their pumpkin. I mean, I wouldn't put it past them if we get there and they already have. But if it's
hmm,
something that disadvantages them, then would you be able to say alter that enchantment? Like put it in so it smells real bad, and then if they decide to bring it anyway, change it so it makes the pumpkin smell real good instead. Make it seem like they're trying to play it up.
I can't change the property, but I can gimmick my magic a little bit to get it to stop uh doing a thing. So
So we would have an
say
out if they bring it. We could not get caught, but then they'd still be entering a legitimate pumpkin.
unless if it wasn't a legitimate pumpkin, but we trick them into thinking it was a legitimate pumpkin.
We might be able to go somewhere with that.
Time to look at my spells. Give me a minute.
Does anybody
DM,
know how to
is
cast an
there
illusion?
is
So
there
I
anyone like at the market who's known for selling just like bad produce, just questionable wares, stuff that might you might get it and there might already be, mold spores developing within it.
Not really. Everyone is very careful about their products that they bring because they want to present the best. People want
Yeah, this
to,
isn't the Shire. It's like we don't have standards.
Are you able to reverse the effects of spells?
in what way?
Like purify food and drink. Are you able to reverse it to make putrefy food and drink?
You would need to spend more time with that to invent putrefy food and drink.
Purify food and drink.
I'm just trying to come up with a way to ruin the pumpkin without leaving a magical residue, at which point I can hide the fact that the pumpkin is ruined so they still try to bring it to the show, and then I can drop the effect at range that's making it look good to make it look bad.
Can I do a nature
Ooh, so
check
you're thinking
to
if we manage to
Oh, sorry. I was going to ask, can I use a nature check to tell like what because like I've been on a farm my whole life. I would know, like, in the 2 days leading up to the farm festival, what is the worst thing that could happen to like produce? Like, what are the things that could go wrong? Could I use a nature check to think of that?
Sure,
Like,
roll a
Oh,
nature check.
we lost Dove.
oh no, Dove. That is a 2 for a total of 7.
I mean, best you can think of is like maggots.
Mm, okay.
Now, where will we get maggots? Because if we can get maggots, I can put it into the pumpkin, use mending to reseal the pumpkin, and cast my stink pin, but unstinky. So they think it's fine. And then when it arrives, turn it off, it's stinky.
Yes. We put something nasty inside the pumpkin. Okay. So have being a 13-year-old who was once a child, would I like I've gone fishing, I'm sure. I know where there are worms and maggots and gross little things that kids find, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, there there is a pond nearby with some questionable things in the on the bank near it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to I think I will while like kind of just be like I mean, there is like the pond down the way. There are like worms and stuff over there. We could go over and put them inside the pumpkin. I have rotten fruit. I have potatoes. I have some corn treats. I have if we put this inside the pumpkin and can hide that there was any hole inside the pumpkin to begin with, that would
I can
certainly
also
help.
use cure wounds since it's a living
Should
thing.
we pause for a minute until Dove can get back on?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna use the restroom. I'll be right back.
Okay.
You know what? That is a very good idea.
Pause for commercial here.
We're not sponsored by anything.
Quick, do a D&D Beyond ad.
Shit. I'm not Sam Riegel.
Wait, maybe I'll be able to find the one on here. Hold on. Nope, just unfortunate things.
I think I'm going to get myself a cup of tea while we're on a break. Be right back.
Alrighty.
I am DM now.
Sure. feel like I should put on like the Wii menu music while we're waiting.
So like, are we gonna have to like make a distraction, you think, to get people? Like, is there like known to be like guards around the pumpkin?
You don't know.
I don't know.
If we're just putting the stinky thing on it, I don't need to be at the pumpkin. But if we're putting bad stuff into the pumpkin and then sealing the pumpkin, I do need to be present for that.
I can also seal things in the pumpkin. But I am thinking like Fred wouldn't suggest this, but like if we are at the market, we could like ask around. Like we might not be on house tour of the Copperworth's home and know information about the like pumpkin guard, but like other people in town who might be friendly to us might know.
Mhm.
Just a suggestion. Fred wouldn't suggest that, but
Too many loose
Do we
ends.
do we have a family that is a friend to them that is also a friend to us?
It's more like a you don't wouldn't necessarily have anyone that's like their bestie. That's also like chill with you, but um uh but people do talk. You could see if you can gossip and chat around once Dove shows up again. Bless you.
Oh,
Bless you.
sorry. And that's why we leave it on mute.
I was gonna say, or if you decide that you're done waiting for Dove, we can have you guys ask around now.
Well, let's see what Dub says. Uh-oh. We all say the same fucking thing, like a bunch of losers.
Literally.
The single brain cell strikes again.
So let's see. Spell wise, I have Bane, I have Bless, I have Ceremony, I have Command, I have Create or Destroy Water, I have Cure Wounds, Detect Good or Evil, Detect Magic, Detect Poison and Disease. So I could find out if it was already poisoned, or diseased. Uh, Guiding Bolt, Healing Word, Identify, Inflict Wounds, Protection from Good or Evil, Purify Food and Drink, Sanctuary, Shield of Faith. Those are not all the spells I have prepped. Those are just the spells I could prep.
I'm in a similar situation since I am a prep class instead of a choose your spells class.
I guess like what we if we're putting okay, So if we are putting the worms and rotten pomegranate and stuff inside of the pumpkin, would that register as detect magic? Like if after we mend it closed?
No. Well, cure wounds, certainly not. Mending, I'm not 100% certain.
There would be like faint traces of whatever school of magic that belongs to. Dove, can you hear us all right?
Yeah, I'm hearing you guys.
Cool. I'll switch us back to the regular playlist then.
Oh my god, I thought Avery was just saying that.
Okay. So we talked about maybe chatting around town, see if anyone knows what their house looks like, what sort of security they might have, or you can just head towards their property and try to be sneaky about it.
Benjamin would be not in favor of talking to additional people because loose ends.
Yeah, I worry about that being suspicious.
Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
Okay. Would you guys like to head to their property then?
Sounds like the plan. While we're going, Fred is going to be kind of trailing behind and looping around and kind of going a little off trail and then catching back up. Looking for worms, looking for maggots, looking for ants, looking for rotten fruit, looking for just as many gross things as I can shove into my apron.
All right, roll an investigation check.
That's actually a good point. We should probably stop by somewhere that would have maggots, like a compost bin or by the river or what have you.
I told you there is a pond. That's a 14 in investigation.
Okay. You're able to find little bits and pieces, like the odd piece of manure, like some moldy straw, all fun little bits, some earthworms.
Yeah. Into the pockets they go.
All right.
Wouldn't it be best if we stuck to things that could be found inside of a pumpkin? Can we find a rotting pumpkin
Ooh.
and put some
Now that'd be
rotting
an
pumpkin
idea.
in the pumpkin?
Actually, do we have any rotting pumpkins? Any just like rejects that didn't make the cut for our own growth?
Mm, yes, actually.
Well, you want to go grab one of our pumpkins, put it in their pumpkin, and then call it a day?
There were a couple of pumpkins that it was clear they were not going to make the cut. So one of the family members took them and cut them up and put it in the put some of it in the compost and put some of it in the pig pen for them to eat.
Well, then let's grab some of the compost.
Oh, I have some of that. So, yeah, Fred like reaches into the pocket, pulls out a couple of like pumpkin scraps that they would have fed to Henwin, and reaches into a different pocket and pulls out some of the rotten pumpkin guts for manure.
Oh, you're so resourceful. Ah, wonderful. Well, I think that might be a plan. And that doesn't even rely on any serious magic.
I mean, hopefully they won't be able to detect a mending in a few days, 2 days. Does it fade enough after that? Would that be like an Arcana check to know?
Roll an Arcana check.
Ooh, let's see. Ooh, that is a dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Um, it does tend to fade over time. And it is also a cantrip, so it's not very strong. But after 2 days, it's likely that they might be able to see it a little. They'd get a little trace of transmutation magic. But remember, it is the judges, not the Copperworth, that are going to be examining the pumpkin for any magical influence.
So if we
That's
can keep them
true.
from getting it there at all, then it won't matter.
I
Yeah,
think if we make it look corrupted before it is at market, make them choose to not bring it and be able to just like, oh no, we're so embarrassed. Maybe
maybe
they'll
we
try and
should
hide
make
it, but
sure that all of their pumpkins are bad. Make it a infection of the whole field.
I
Ooh, that might
think
better
that's
disguise it.
maybe a little ambitious, though, don't you think? We're not going to have a ton of time. We don't even know if they've got like a god or something. We
What
should
if we
see
only
if we can
actually
find
mess
out
with their big pumpkin, but
the
also
biggest.
Glenjamin over here and chance something in the area to make it have the smell. So it seems like, the smell's kind of everywhere. Might be coming from any number of their crop. Mm. Might be a good way to make it seem like it's a lot of them without actually having to do the work of messing up a lot of them.
And if we put all of the worms and rotten junk inside of their baked pumpkin, it might be eaten through in 2 days.
Oh, that is
Can we catch some field mice?
That
If
could
we catch
also
some
work.
field
Yeah, let's
mice,
catch some field mice.
because field mice will chew through a pumpkin. Worms might just be inside the pumpkin, but field mice will chew through them.
At which point they would then repair it themselves and get themselves disqualified.
Now there's an
Potentially.
idea.
So okay, so what is our battle strategy? Preventing it from going, making it so if it goes, it's bad, or a bit of both?
I think a little bit column A, a little bit column B. I don't know why I've become stubborn now.
Nothing wrong with double dipping.
I was noticing, but I wasn't going to say anything.
It just
So
happened.
If we put the worms inside of it and give it 2 days to sit and rot from the inside, then I think that it might just work itself out. Don't you think?
okay, so make the big one rot but smell good, and then make all the other ones smell rotten. So
I mean, I think we could still make the big one smell rotten, don't you think?
I think having them bring the pumpkin that we're preparing is more important.
Why would we want? We're trying to get them to not bring it, right? Make them self-select. Make them choose the smaller pumpkin from their crop. Something that could never hope to be ours.
What if we combine the two plans? We start to whittle away at the axle so that it breaks, and we put a bunch of maggots inside of the big pumpkin so that when they're trying to go down the road and they get up over the hill, the axle breaks, the pumpkin falls, splits open, full of worms.
Well, we don't want it to break, right? Because that's a little too obvious. But if it's
Well,
rotten,
if they break it and it's rotten, It's their own
I think
fault.
I
And the
think we
pumpkin
rot
is
we
on their
rot it.
face.
Let's put a bunch of worms in it. Maybe make it smell bad, and then we can whittle the axle a little bit and make the axle broken.
That was
And
what
then
I was
maybe
saying.
if we're able to, while we're there, sneak in, see if we can find the recipe. I think Grandmama would love that.
Going above and beyond the call of duty.
They'll never know it hit them. But let's chat a little bit around the market and see if we can find out what they've got going on at the farm as far as preparations.
So, ruin Big Pumpkin, make the other pumpkins obviously ruined.
I don't think we need to worry about the other pumpkins. I'm worried about the biggest pumpkin. None of the other ones are going to compare. We got to concentrate our efforts on the biggest target.
Ruin
Our
Big
targets
Pumpkin,
are Big Pumpkin, Axel.
Axel,
Yes.
recipe.
Recipe.
The recipe is a fun thing that if we get the chance to do.
So
we can always save that heist for another one shot.
with Fred, sneak the pumpkin, put worms and potentially filled mouths inside. Do we want to mask that smell or just let it smell?
Just let it smell, I think. Right?
Let it smell.
Do we want to
as much
make the
smell as we
other
can.
pumpkins smell? Because I can just make a couple rocks smelly and you can throw them that way.
Honestly, I
we
think we
need to
might as
tip them
well.
off necessarily, though.
Fair enough. And I have to go on the Axel mission because I'm the one that would be breaking the axle. So are we going to go 2 and 2 or do we want to all 4 of us for each?
I think we could split up.
Less
I can
people
do
to
a little
get.
bit of I can do a little bit of yammering and find out a little bit more about what they've got going on as far as security.
That is not my strength. So whatever you view is correct on that. I go on the wagon and potentially recipe, and Fred and whoever goes on pumpkin doing.
I can go out with Fred.
Yeah, once I get a little bit more information, we can see someone might need to be on distracting duty.
It's true, and I am ready for a distraction if need be. I'm gonna pat the pie I have in my backpack.
Good point.
But the thing about a distraction is that'll clue them in that we were there at all. So I think doing one is
Plan B.
well, and only if we need to kind of thing.
If we're careful about it, we should be able to be in and out and they won't notice. I think.
Okay. Let's go do some rolls for interrogating the town folk.
Okay. That would be an investigation check. You can do it individually or one person with advantage.
Wait, investigation?
Investigation to ask around.
I have that actually trained and good intelligence.
My investigation is a +3.
5.
Is yours better? Yeah. Somehow, the most unwelcome person in this town is got the most riz, which is the only reason why he's been allowed to stay in this town.
No, he doesn't have Riz. That's the thing. His charisma sucks. But investigation, which, yeah,
He's
for
a
whatever
goth.
reason, is intelligence.
He's a gossip.
It's just because he like walks around like dick
He just picks up
forward,
on
like
things.
He's got that big dick energy.
No, he doesn't have the big dick energy. He just is.
uh-huh.
So if we want to just give me guidance, give me advantage, lucky in case if I roll 2 1s.
You've got this, Uncle Glenjamin. And I'm giving you guidance.
Okay. Which one's guidance again? Is that D4 or D6?
It's a D4.
It's a D4.
Okay. A D4. One of the D20s that was actually being nice to me. Cross your fingies and toes.
You can only cross your toes if you're not wearing shoes.
Okay, so I got a 1922 on my first roll, and I just re-roll the D20, not the D4. Correct? And yeah, we'll go with the first roll. That would be 22.
Okay. So you ask around. The Copperworths don't have as much land as you all do. As I mentioned before, their family is smaller. So they don't have as many people working the land. And you gather that they don't, the best that they have in terms of security is the Copperworth son, Dusty, I mentioned before, Dahlia's twin brother, who is not afraid to like scare people off with a pitchfork if he feels like he has to.
I probably got this information from my dwarf friends.
Do we know if he is guarding the pumpkin itself or just the farm in general?
Could you repeat that, please?
Is he just guarding the pumpkin, guarding just the farm?
He guards the farm.
The farm itself, not just the pumpkin. Okay.
So we could make a distraction on the other end of the farm.
You also hear that he's picture like your average kind of dickish country boy.
That's already what I was picturing.
He's that type. Like, this is gonna sound weird, but you know, in Zootopia at the very beginning, there's that fox that was
Yes.
bullying the rabbit.
Mm-hmm.
Dusty is like him.
Cool.
Not considered very smart, but he takes care of family farm.
So do we want to run a distraction or just time it out for when he's not on that side of the farm?
I think a distraction is probably a good idea.
How close is their farm to our farm?
Pretty far away.
Okay, so we can't release our pig and be like, our pig got loose and distract them. Could
We could
we
let
release
their animals out.
We could let their animals out.
Could you like prestidigitate like a voice going, "Oh no, the animals are out"?
I wouldn't be able to mimic their voice well enough to do that.
I could break their irrigation system.
Also
Uh,
reasonable to expect that they'd probably have some sort of like farming dogs or hounds.
Hmm.
if only we had a familiar for scouting purposes.
Alas, we are level 1.
We are level 1 and I don't have Henwin. I'm sorry. I wanted
Henwin
to
is too
bring
precious.
her, but no one wanted me to bring her.
Don't you have any other pig friends that aren't the prize winning pig?
Henwin's the best pig. She's the only one in this family that understands me.
Say that in front of your mother.
I mumbled that in front of my mom. Whether mom hears that or not is up to her. I'm 13. I can speak my mind.
Hmm. Okay, does anybody have any ideas for a decent distraction? Because I am 100% and completely out of ideas. Wait a second.
The biggest thing I'm thinking of is that I do have create or destroy water, which, like, on a farm, water is very important. The management thereof and the avoidance of water problems. So that could be a big distraction.
Oh, I can make a animal noise that's 10 feet away, or that can be heard from 10 feet away.
And then it makes him sound like the animals have gotten out, and so he goes and runs to the field, gets out of our hair. DM, from our gossip, do we know are most everybody else from the family, except for the one guy, probably going to be out preparing for the festivities and probably won't really be around the farm too much?
Hard to say. You already saw Cassandra and Dahlia out of the way, so the ones you can expect to be there are Cassandra's father, Edel, her husband, and then Dusty.
Okay, so two people on the farm at least to watch out
Three
for.
people.
Okay.
I think that's our best bet. I can make, hell, it's a free ability, so I can literally take my sling bullets, have it make animal noises, and lead them on a wild goose chase with them to
Does
get them.
thaumaturgy could thaumaturgy open the stables?
Potentially,
It can
if they're not
open
locked.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
we can
I think
use
that's a decent plan.
we can use my sound creation to get them away from the lock. You can then unlock the lock so the actual animals get out. And then that gives us an opportunity to do our two separate missions, which are ruin a pumpkin and ruin the axle.
Okay, let's do it.
Do we want to make... Okay, no, never mind. We decided against that. Okay, we got a plan.
All right. So before I show you guys the map, I would like everyone to roll a stealth check.
Aha! Ah, that would be a 19.
16.
6.
Oh no.
A natural 20 for 22.
All right. That'll be enough to make up for Fred tripping all over themselves. Okay.
Remember,
So,
everyone, if you roll a 1, you got lucky.
Yep.
that is not necessarily where you guys are standing. That is just where I happen to put you. Um, so you guys approach the farm trying to be stealthy about it, not be seen. I would like a perception check.
That would be not me, since I take self-imposed disadvantage because of my shit eyesight.
Nah,
My perception is at +5. I don't know if anybody else has higher than that.
I think that's the
Wants to give me an
highest.
advantage. Anybody want to give me advantage?
I'll give you guidance, and
Do
I'll
it.
give you
Both.
guidance. Can I do both at once? I will try and do both at once.
Sure, why not?
That'll be a 16.
Okay. So anyone that got a 12 or above can see Edel Copperworth kind of sitting in the shade of a tree near, he's actually like here, near a stump with some chopped wood next to it. And he is, as I mentioned before, an older halfling man, dark skin, shock of white hair. He is asleep. He is napping in the shade. Meanwhile, Dusty is standing by the animal pen, just kind of throwing rocks at the animals and then laughing. He looks like Dahlia, got kind of suntanned skin and a confident gait to his walk. He's just, as I mentioned, throwing rocks at the sheep, kind of trying to scare them a little. They bleat. And you do not see Cassandra's husband, Castor, anywhere at the moment.
Is there any way that we could not go through like the main heart of their home path there and maybe try and sneak around the other side of the house instead, away from where we see them?
Yeah, I mean, you should be able to move your character token.
Kind of like this way along the
Yeah.
edge, and kind of like peek a little bit into the windows to see if we can spot uh the other husband.
Roll a perception check.
Ooh, yes.
Guidance.
22. 22.
All right. You kind of peek into this first room here. You don't see him in there. You just see a little dining room and kitchen set.
Just kind of start keep making our way.
Glenjamin is
Go.
very much head down, focusing on being stealthy.
All right.
How
Just
how I'm imagining this is that you're Eurydice. I'm sorry, I do not remember how to
Eurydice.
pronounce Eurydice. Eurydice is like
Eurydice.
peeking up with her like ungodly like tall for a halfling body, and then Fred just like peeks up the little head for a guidance and also advantage.
Eurydice. It's like Eurydice, but Eurydice.
Eurydice, thank you.
We're just gonna keep slowly making our way around the corner here.
All right. All right. Keep going around. You're peeking through the windows. You see what seems to be the bedroom of Dusty and Dahlia. All right. I would like an additional perception check for this room here that you're peeking into.
Guidance.
That's a 9.
With guidance and advantage?
Not with with advantage. Oh yeah, that's a lot better. 23.
23. All right. So you peek into this room and you can see Cassandra's husband, Castor. He's in here with this seems just to be kind of like a clutter room of some sort, but there's also various house plants and whatnot in here.
Oh, yeah.
Uh, uh, in your dice, you can see he is looking at a book that is titled Druidic for Beginners.
Ooh.
Gasp. They are cheats. Quick question. When we passed by, I didn't realize that this first room was the kitchen, but upon seeing, when we were poking our eyes through the kitchen, did I see like a recipe, like card holder on like any of the counters?
No, you did not.
Okay. Okay, I'm keeping an eye out for anything that looks like a recipe card or a recipe book.
Okay. You don't see that, but you see Castor in here with Druidic for Beginners.
Who's got the Apple iPhone? Wasn't it Dove's character has the Apple iPhone? Should take a picture of him.
It is not a real Apple iPhone.
No, my iPhone.
Wait a second.
You gotta take a picture of this as evidence.
I can take a picture.
How can you take a picture?
With magical tinkering.
How does that work?
I literally can just create an image on a tiny object surface.
But
that doesn't necessarily prove anything, though.
I know.
Just make it up. Okay, well, we'll kind of like look at that for a little bit. Do I get like intro to Druidic book written by somebody, like as much of the detail as I can get about this book?
I mean, it's kind of hard to see, but he's in here with the house plants and the clutter.
Okay.
This book.
I guess we'll keep moving, see if we can see anything more.
Right. There aren't windows in this specific part of the building.
Okay. That's fine. We'll be over here. We can see the pumpkin.
Yeah, there's a slight slope, but you can see their garden. You can see a large, rather healthy-looking pumpkin.
Does it look bigger than our pumpkin?
Hard to say. It's pretty close.
Oh.
Well,
all right.
Shall we send in Team Pumpkin?
Yes. Be careful.
Team Pumpkin going in.
Does someone with an actual strength score want to boost them over the fence?
It's not me.
It really isn't me.
I think I have a
strength
+1 to strength.
I think you have the highest strength, Mom.
Alrighty.
Right, Kellen, roll a strength check.
That is actually a 19.
Cool. Who do you boost over?
Wow.
Which Did we decide how we were splitting people up?
Well, the leaders of each team is Fred and me. So are you going with Fred or are you going with me?
Ooh.
Well, doesn't Fred have to provide the worms?
Yes, because
Yeah,
Fred
Fred
is
does
on
need.
Team Pumpkin.
Yeah.
And are you
Yeah,
not on Team Pumpkin? I thought you had to fill in the hole.
No, she can because it's the living
Oh,
object.
because it's a
right.
living object. I'll let Bled over first, so that if there's something there, it gets him instead.
So you chuck Fred over. Who's going with Fred?
Shouldn't it be Fred and Fred? Fred, you and I guess I can go. My stealth is okay.
Be my lookout.
Okay, I'll be your lookout. I'll sneak around. Okay, I give a boost. I mean, I could probably. How high is this fence? I could probably climb it myself.
The fence is about like 4.5 feet tall.
So pretty tall. Could I try and make like acrobatics over?
Sure, roll an acrobatics check.
Ah, natty 20, baby. 24.
All right, 24. You get over just fine. And it's at this point that Dusty kind of pauses throwing rocks at the animals and starts looking around a little bit. Someone might have stepped on something or heard you lift over the fence.
Breathe.
Glenjamin mutters something into one of the pellets that he's been carrying with him, takes out his sling. Bing.
Right, roll a.
Well, to hit, but what's the AC of within 10 feet of the fucker?
Are you gonna hit
Yeah,
him?
that's
What
what
is
I'm trying to say. Roll a dexterity check to see how on target you are.
Shouldn't I just roll a 2 hit? But
Yeah, sure, if you want.
that would be a
Also,
22.
please note the angle you're at in relation to him. There's a fence here, a house here, and then Dusty is over here. Are you planning? Are you planning on like throwing over this way?
Oh, I probably go up and then back down.
Okay,
And
where are you aiming for?
just kind of
How are
in
you
the
aiming?
animal enclosure.
Okay.
And as the rock zings, you can hear bird noises.
Let's see if he falls for that. Yeah, okay. He pulls out his pitchfork and starts to go into the animal enclosure.
After doing that, Glen's just like, shit, I should probably not leave a talking rock in there. It just starts randomly just tinkering with his shit to make other magical effects to get that one to stop working.
All right.
Like, he makes a rock, one of the surfaces of a rock turn a different color, and he makes his shoes clean or whatever. And he's just like, fuck.
I think upon like
Yeah.
hearing him kind of move forward, but then start moving back, Eridice and Fred are just like, go. Like,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the minute that the rock, the bird noise rock starts like flying and Clive is distracted by that, Fred is going to start making his way like army crawling through the crops if they can.
All right.
And Team
like-
B is scuttling along the fence.
Okay.
What is our move? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5.
Fred, your dice. I'd like you both to make another stealth check.
Can I guide myself?
Sure.
Cool. I need all the help I can get.
Did you lose your dice?
I did. Okay, that's not this is vantage, right? That's a 8.
Okay. Your dice?
I'm rolling for
Stealth.
Stealth.
right. 12.
12? Okay. Nope, Dusty's a fucking idiot. I made him that way. Well, he's still looking for the rock. He was kind of just like waving his pitchfork around like an idiot. The sheep are all bleeding, but you guys make your way over towards the pumpkin.
I'm keeping an eye out over around the corner.
All right, roll a perception check.
$20, non-natural.
Awesome. You feel like you're keeping a very close eye, checking out Dusty and Edel. Edel's still sound asleep. All right. Fred,
How
what are you?
high is this fence to the left of me here, next to the
That
cart?
one's only like 2 feet.
Okay.
Okay, I am going to try and I have an apple core because it's really bad for pigs to like eat the apple seeds, so I have an apple core to like get all of that out. So I am going to try and squish it in towards the bottom of the pumpkin and try and break through into the hollow part of it.
Okay. What check would this be?
Strength?
You can do sleight of hand or athletic.
let's do sleight of hand. And I'm going to guide myself as well.
Go for it.
Oh, that's really good. Okay, that is a 23. I'm sorry, yeah, 23.
23. All right, you successfully and quietly managed to get the pumpkin open.
Okay, cool. And because it's like a small enough hole, I'm going to just start shoving like rotten pumpkin guts, and I'm going to smear a little bit of yeast into the like rotted pumpkin guts that no, actually, I'm going to shove the field mice in there first, shove the worms in there, smear yeast on the pumpkin guts, and then shove the pumpkin guts inside the pumpkin so that it kind of seals it up a little bit.
Okay.
And I'm just doing that as quickly as I can, shoving as many like gross things as I can in there. I'll even like pour the like gross bottle of fermented whatever that I've got like around the bottom of the pumpkin, and then I'm casting mending over the core hole.
All right. You shove everything into the pumpkin glory hole that you made. And seal it in. I mean, the mouse is probably fine in there. It doesn't need to breathe, right?
I'm like, look, we're relying on the mouse chewing its way out of the pumpkin, so mice
Yeah,
are gonna
that's
do what
true.
mice are gonna do.
A mouse will chew its own leg off to get out, so I think it'll
All right.
eat its way out.
But that part is successful. Kellen, what are you up to? Are you just kind of waiting by the side so that you can help everyone back on the other side of the fence?
I think so, yeah. And she's just keeping an eye out for
right.
for anything weird.
Can you roll a perception check, please?
Yep. That'll be a 20, probably 21, I think.
All right. You're feeling pretty confident that you're keeping an eye out, making sure everything's good. Glenjamin, what are you doing?
I've snuck further around the fence to hopefully the shorter fence to be able to sneak over to the cart.
That one is the same size.
Well, fuck a doodle doodle. Let's see how my acrobatics check is. Uh, 18,
18.
I think.
All right. You are able to get over the fence. Dusty still hasn't noticed anything.
Da-da. Sneaking through the foliage. And I would like to look to see what Dusty's doing.
Perception check.
With disadvantage. That would be a 3.
And Dusty is over there by some sheep.
Then I scuttle across the way to hide behind this other wagon.
All right. Okay. Your dice. It looks like Dusty has found the rock that was making noise before, and he seems confused by it.
That is no longer making noise.
Yeah.
Can I gesture for Fred to start making her way back?
Yeah. Can I hold on. Let me do some measuring real fast. To see. Yeah. Okay. Oh, no. Okay. Never mind. Yeah, I'm going to try and start army crawling back towards the more dense foliage. Can we get back over the fence? I guess. Yeah, okay. I'm going to
boost you up.
Yeah, I'm going to start army crawling back towards the fence.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll go and I'll help boost you back up.
Let's say that Kellen is able to help you both get back over the fence.
Stealthy as we can.
Mm-hmm. All right. Benjamin.
Bail out anytime you want, Benjamin. We finished the pumpkin.
Well, no, Dusty needs a new distraction. And so I'm trying to decide if I should deliver it or if I need to have you guys deliver it.
We can potentially distract Dusty. Focus on your mission.
Okay, I take out another pellet, do a little bit of magic, and sling the pellet over towards you guys. Rolling to hit. 8, 12, 14.
And we're all ducked behind the 4-foot fence back here.
Okay. Is this one making noise or is it?
No, it's a rock with a message written on it that I kind of lobbed back towards them.
Okay. What does the message say?
Distract Dusty.
Oh, I see.
Fred is going to. Oh, sorry.
No, you can go.
So, I have a DM. I have a question. Hold on. I don't know why it won't let me. Is this still fence or is this?
That is still fence. Yeah.
Okay, so the fence goes all the way around back here.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Then I'm going to start sneaking my way, army crawling under the windows back around the house if I can.
All right.
Glenjamin is just hunkered down by the barn, wedged behind the wagon, just like, okay, don't get discovered.
Sneaky, 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 sneaky.
Dusty throws the rock that it had been previously making noise and manages to hit the roof, and he kind of whoops.
I'm going to try and sneak around to like the corner of the house so that I can kind of see where Dusty is.
Mm-hmm.
As we get around the corner too, and we're able to look back into the kitchen, I would like to make like a proper investigation through the window to see if I can find
Well,
any
you
recipe
can't do an
book.
investigation through the window. You can do perception through the window.
Well, yeah, perception. Either way.
Investigation, you'd have to climb in through the window and start rummaging through their stuff.
Can I get into the window? Is it open?
Do you want to try?
Can I just like see if it lifts at all? I'm not like just like
Yeah.
see if it's
It
unlocked.
lifts open like very slightly.
I kind of look over at Kellen like, what do you think?
I mean, we do need to get that recipe back.
I mean, even if we don't sabotage the wagon, we've already done the pumpkin, and if we could get the recipe back, that would be a lot. So can I just try? Because as we pass back through, the husband guy is still at his desk reading the book, correct?
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, I think I'm gonna try and just very carefully get into the kitchen.
All right. Or another stealth check, please.
Do I
Guidance.
get advantage? Yes. So that's a 16 on the die plus 6, that's 22.
Awesome. You're feeling pretty confident as you slither your way into the kitchen.
Hell yeah. This is what being a high dex ranger gets you.
Can I use thaumaturgy to it'll be 30 feet away, so it won't be like in the animal pasture, but kind of a little over by where the dude is sleeping. Can I make it sound like make the sound of like some more like bird noises, like there might be some bird in the underbrush or something like that.
All
Like
right.
a chicken escaped or something.
Yeah, like the ruffle of feathers, the like sound of like crashing through underbrush that birds do, that type of sound.
All right. Yeah, use thaumaturgy. Edel wakes up, hearing the sound, starts kind of grumbling and going over to look for the bird that got loose.
Ah, shoot. I didn't mean to wake up at all. Okay. Just kind of look back at Kellen like, Eddle's up. But I'm going to try and like stay stealthed down like behind the bushes, so like hopefully he won't notice.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't see you, apparently.
Hello, party. My mother would like to show off her dress for going to see drag.
Trixie Mattel.
Going to Trixie Mattel. Anyway,
That is wonderful.
That's quite the dress.
many compliments directed at you.
Thank you, everyone.
She says thank you.
All right.
Anyway,
Dusty
intermission for our stealth mission.
Dusty starts making his way towards the gate.
Poop.
You gotta turn them. You gotta turn them back towards the pen.
Don't want to overplay my hand. What options do I have?
Can I try to start making an investigation through the kitchen for the recipe?
Roll investigation check.
Oh, please. Okay, not bad. 14.
14. We'll say you begin the process of looking around.
Okay.
So,
which way is the wind blowing?
wind is blowing to the north.
So from Dusty to me.
Yep.
Shit. Okay, different idea. I don't have anything good. I'm going in. I sneak over to this wheel.
Okay.
Stealth.
Yeah, roll a stealth check.
15, 20, 19.
All right, you're feeling pretty confident. You can make a dexterity check with your tinkerer's tools.
Okay. I McFucking. Here we go. No. Is it just proficiency? Oh, Dex. So
Dex
that's an 8.
Okay, you are shocked to find that this wagon is almost nothing like shoes. You're having a hard time with it because of that. So you can try again in another moment. Fred and Kellen, what are you guys doing?
Oh, you got anything, Mom?
Do I have anything? I have an absurd amount of knives, but I don't think that's gonna help much. It's too obvious at this point. Because I think if we get noticed at all, we're screwed.
Yeah.
You guys could always pick a fight.
I don't necessarily know that is the way to go here.
I mean, another option is you could potentially flee the scene.
It's true, but we still have
Get out of Dodge.
yeah, I'm not on the inside. Ooh.
I mean, I can make a break for it too. I mean,
But then we're leaving Glenjamin. I mean, I guess
well, he's got like 18 different escape routes. He's all right.
Yeah. I have a DM. I have a question about command. So I assume that there's not like a way to stealthily command someone. Like they would know that they have been commanded.
They would know they've been commanded afterwards, and anyone who is not commanded would probably hear you say the command word.
Okay, that's what I figured. All right. Yeah, no, I got nothing. I mean, we could
probably like get out of there.
Yeah.
Ooh, is this a spell I can cast at a distance?
Is it a spell you can cast at a distance?
Let's see. No.
Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I am going to cast create water at the bottom of their sink area so that it looks like their sink is leaking 10 gallons of water all over the floor.
All right.
Can I cast create water inside of the sink cabinet so that it is slowly leaking 10 gallons of water out?
Actually, to that point, I am also going to cast Unseen Servant. And I don't know. Turn the sink on, I guess.
Use how far can the unseen servant go? Because it can make noise and touch stuff up to like 5 pounds, right?
Yep.
Like you
no,
could have it like walk towards the left, maybe past the tree, and like rustle some stuff in that far like left corner, left south.
Yeah,
like
that's a good
have
idea.
it go ruffling through over here and like draw their attention that way.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I'll send that out then.
All right. Here, what's a good token for Unseen Servant? Just so that we know. See.
Meanwhile, I'm looking underneath the sink cabinet, trying to find the recipe book, and all of a sudden, water.
I was looking through the window.
Am I having any luck? Should I roll another investigation check?
Roll another investigation check. Well, I'm looking for something that could represent an unseen servant.
Fuck it, just slap Balk in there or something.
I got an 11.
Hold on, I'll tell you what, Kellen. What color would you say your magic is?
So she's doing right here is she's gonna turn and say, "Oh, there's a little a cleanup trick they had in my book. Let me just remember how it goes." And then she's gonna swoosh out, and just like crackling flames come off of her hands for a sec, and then dissipate, and then the unseen servant starts doing its shit.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Unseen servant like starts scuttling off this way, and what do you want your unseen servant to do? Like hit the tree, whatever.
Yeah, just like Rustle branches, like break sticks.
Make it seem like that's where the chicken is.
Yeah.
Eat a chicken.
You guys took that video of the guy pretending to be Rafiki in the tree and then just falling.
Yes.
Those kinds of vibes over here. And so they start going that way. Your dice, did you roll again?
I did. I got an 11.
11. Okay. We'll say that in combination with your 14 you got before and the time you're actually spending to look for this, you find squirreled away in the back cupboard an old pie recipe.
Mm-hmm. Do I find any other recipes that are theirs?
I mean, sure.
I'm gonna take their, like, do they have like a signature dish aside from like the pie recipe they stole from us?
Not really. No, they kind of just
damn. Okay. All right. Yeah. So I'll just take our recipe then and just fucking scoot.
Okay.
Pop out the window again, very like carefully looking to see. Like, that's clear.
Clear.
And with
Pop
all
out.
the noise, Glenjamin is just like, fuck it, pulls out dagger and stabs it into where the axle attaches to the thing.
Okay.
Attack roll?
Yeah. Roll an attack.
That would be a 14.
14? Yeah, that hit. Roll damage.
4. No, 5.
All right. You do a bit of damage to it. It doesn't look like it's about to fall apart necessarily, but maybe with a little more stress on it.
Glenjamin sticks his head around the wagon and goes, fuck it, stabs again.
Roll a hit.
16, 22.
Awesome. Roll damage.
Another 5.
All right. So we'll say that you feel like you have heard it enough that if something were to happen on the road, like if they were to get stuck in mud or if they were to put too much weight on the back of the wagon, it would probably break.
Or like hit a rock or what have you.
Or hit a rock or what have you.
At this point, Glenjamin kind of looks to see if any of them are any of his co-conspirators are looking his way.
You can't see them from where you're at.
We're behind the house.
Gone. For all you know, they've ditched you.
Okay, at this point, Glenjamin makes a beeline out through the pasture and looping out and away through that way.
All right.
Fred is going to flood the sink, and as we are and then like yeet with the rest of the group, but as we are walking out of the, like, once we are out of sight of the farm but like on the road towards town, casting create water again and just making a little rain cloud behind us.
Yeah, I'm definitely want us to go in like a slightly southeastern way, so we are definitely not spotted on the way out.
All right.
The rain will cover our tracks, guys.
Yeah.
Glenjamin is just straight up hoofing it through the field.
Rain covers you guys' tracks and makes the road nice and damp and muddy behind you guys.
The wet bandits.
So, is there any other sort of sabotage that you guys would like to do in the next day, or shall we move on to the festival?
Unless if we want to dump a rock in the road, I say we move on to the festival.
we go and proudly declare to Grandmama that we got the recipe back.
Grandmama is very pleased. She's also pleased hearing about your exploits, your sabotage. And
I am going to make sure that I feed Henwin some of the miscellaneous crops that I stole on my army crawl through their garden.
All right. So the day of the festival arrives. It's a very cheerful event. People are playing games. There's the usual sorts of things one would expect to find at a harvest festival, such as roasted corn on the cob and turkey legs, and as well as the various games, such as like a hammer throwing game and horseshoes to play with, and the little goldfish game that you always see where you can win a goldfish. All that fun stuff. As well
I'm gonna win Bonnie a goldfish.
All right. As well as the various sorts of competitions and produce that you can buy. There's of course the prize pig contest, which Hedwyn easily wins, as she always does and has for centuries.
Yeah.
And
How old is that pig?
She's the best pig ever.
Eldritch God, Henwin.
I told you she was a lucky pig.
Oh my God.
And of course, it then comes the time for the pumpkin growing contest. For a while, the Copperworths are suspiciously absent. No one has seen them for a while. And when they do finally arrive, very late, covered in mud, carrying their pumpkin by hand, Dusty trips with the pumpkin and it smashes all over the place, disqualifying them instantly, leaving your family, the Dawnhills, to win the pumpkin contest.
Woo! Suck it.
Dawnhill supremacy!
Dawnhill
supremacy!
supremacy!
You feast not only on the produce that you all acquired from the festival, but also for the first time in centuries, the recipe of pie that was stolen from you all.
Yeah.
Yes.
And with that, the one shot draws to a close.
Yes!
We did it!
We did it!
Well done, guys.
Oh, that was fun.
God. I love it.
That was great.
I pray for the return of Glenjamin.
GG, guys. GG.
GG, GG.
Thanks for playing, guys. That was super good.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye.
Yes,
Thanks for playing.
Bye.
Bye.